Howdy folks, Hulkrex here, and welcome to Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 78. And today we're going to be talking about attack helicopters. And to kick it all off with attack helicopters, we're going to be talking about the Warrior AH-7, or AH-7. It's the 25 ton. If you look at all the data sheet here, it looks like it's 25 tons, but it says it's 21 tons. Whatever. So if you're using the program, Vehicle V program to build it, it's 25. Now, let's just take a quick look at this thing. It is a 914, has internal combustion engine on it, so it can cruise out there at 9, flank speed is 14. So not bad, it's pretty decent. Gets out there and moves around. Carries 24 points of armor, so 1.5 tons of armor. Helicopters, it's like hit or miss. You know, it's like you could have a lot of armor on them or not any armor, because all it takes is one rotor hit usually and they're gone, like an AC-5 or something of that nature. Alright, weapons. Carries an AC-2 to the front, 1 ton of ammo in the body, an SRM-4 in the front, and 1 ton of ammo in the body. Now, what good are attack helicopters or VTOLs in the game? Well, since they're kind of fit the bill as like scouts, just think of them that way. Very mobile, can get around. They're not worried about terrain by any means. They can fly around over top of everything. So a lot of times they're making almost full use of their movement to get usually a +4 modifier. To be shot at, but it's kind of hard to hide a helicopter because it's in the air. But when you look at it, well, you can stand back with them, you can do flanking maneuvers with them, or get behind mechs and pile into their rear armor with them. So they're very versatile in that aspect as harassers, flanking harassers, and to be honest with you, they can work pretty good at intercepting light scout mechs and put the hurt on them at range. Because typically you look at a lot of the lighter mechs, they don't have a lot of heavy weapons on them. Or they do have maybe an LR5. Or typically something like a harassing long-range weapon. And these vehicles can do the same job. Alright. Now, when I look at the Warrior attack helicopter, it has that AC-2 and an SRM-4. Well, the SRM-4 is pretty good. You know, you get it within 9. So when you're within 9, you can, let's say, by that time, hopefully you're into this flank or the rear armor of a mech, and you're hitting the rear armor. Or you can maneuver into those really quickly into those flanks where you have a mech that's missing some armor, so later in the stage. Because typically what I do with this version of the Warrior is I tend to sit back with that AC-2 and just kind of plank away. Now, it's kind of an expensive point sink when you look at it from that perspective. You're only doing 2 points of damage at long range or medium range. You're just gambling for that lucky 2 or 12, so a headshot or a internal structure shot with a 2. So you're really not effectively doing much in the game, because 2 points here, 2 points there doesn't really matter until the medium to later part of the game, where most of the mechs have missing armor, and then you're doing the crit shots. But by that time, I have a tendency to move this attack helicopter into close and just start hammering away with that AC-2, and then hit them with the SRM-4 and go in crit hunting, either in the flanks or in the rear. Okay, and you get 4 of these things, or 2 or 4 of them, operating in the rear of any mech, and they're going to be like, do I take care of these guys, or do I just continually ignore them? And if you have a mech that's sitting back in the backfield that is raining down fire with LRMs, let's say Archer or Catapult or something like that, with a squadron of or a lance of these things can do some hurt on them. Especially, it's like if you have a mech sitting back there, they're probably not going to ignore these things. All right, that's the whole job, is to break up anybody sitting in the rear and being totally ignored. These things can fly in pretty quick and then just start harassing those mechs. If they don't have any flankers like light mechs or medium mechs that can get around your flanks, then these guys can do that job quite easily too. Now let's just look at variants of this one. You got the 1 to 7A replaces the short range missiles with the machine gun and upgrades to an autocannon 5. Well, that's not a bad one. You have a little bit more hitting power with the autocannon, and then you have the machine guns for anti-infantry work. That works pretty decently. Now, then there's the other variant, which replaces everything with long-range missiles, which I have a tendency to like a little bit more because you can do more damage than that AC-2. Yeah, the AC-2 has a little longer range, but for that 6 ton, 7 tons you throw at it, you can put an LRM-10 or a couple LRM-5s and actually do more damage in the long run. So I have a tendency to like that one a little bit more. Now, let's take a look at, if you looked at the title and you're seeing the Cobra Attack Helicopters, which are what I like to call these things. You can see it has all the missile pods and everything on it. The ones I use are the same tonnage, 25 tons, and they have 2 LRM-5s, and then the 2 versions I have, there's one that has 4 machine guns, and then I have another one that has an SRM-4 with a ton of ammo. So your choice is 2 LRM-5s and SRM-4, or 2 LRM-5s and 4 machine guns. So its job is kind of, if you want to go after infantry with the machine gun version, because if you're running against people, because there have been quite a few campaigns where we had individuals like to have infantry, and it kind of helps to have something that can go out there and start mowing down infantry pretty decently, because if you get 3 or 4 of these guys with machine guns, that's a lot of machine gun fire that you can put to bear on any type of infantry. Let's say you have a lance that's fire support lance that's parked out in the back and they're raining down fire. They may have a platoon of infantry as a blocker force in between you and them. You send some attack helicopters in like this with machine guns, and those infantry are gone quickly. They're just toast. And that's what I like about that version. Now, if you have the LRM and the SRM version, I like to do, like I said, get into the flanks, start raining down LRM fire into the flanks of mechs, and then try to work my way around the back. And then you're sitting there hitting somebody in the rear armor. They're either going to have to turn to take care of you or ignore you. So that either way, they're going to be put into a world of hurt because you have something that moves pretty fast. Now, if they have a fire support lance in the back, well, they can either take their time and start to take on the helicopters, which, you know, you're starting to see how this is like, okay, we can take the helicopters on and try to knock them down, which is ignoring all that fire on your mechs, and your mechs can then concentrate on taking the other mechs down that are farther forward of them. So it's one of those things where you're going to be having their head turn around trying to figure out which way to go. And when you have these guys flying along pretty quickly, they are not going to be like it too much. All right. So that's pretty much everything in a nutshell when it comes to attack helicopters. I see them quite a bit in our campaigns that we played over the years. And then there's other individuals that like using them. Probably well, let's just put it this way, in a lot of the, well, in Gen Con and Origins and over the years when we were playing, you didn't see a lot of them. Actually, you didn't see a lot of vehicles because everybody wants to play mechs. And they always seem to set up the most of the campaigns for just plain battle mechs. But there's been some games where, I remember one time in Origins, they did give me some attack helicopters and tanks, and I just cleaned house up with those things. And they had mechs that were trying to come around the flanks, and I just tore them a new one. And then next thing you know, they're wondering what the heck's happening, and I am in their rear with the helicopters. I think that was the one game that was probably around 2007 or 2008. That was in that one. And a lot of the same guys were running all the scenarios over the years, and after seeing what happened and just totally rolling up the enemy with nothing but vehicles and helicopters, they had a tendency to not put them into scenarios again. I don't know why, but that's what happens when you get somebody that knows what they're doing with them. So that's pretty much everything. If you have any other stories that you put down below and everything, and like and subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. This is Hellcrex, and we'll talk with you later.